FPE Network.
Florida Park Explorers.
We explore the parks 5 to 6 days a week with great live streams and vlogs. We cover everything from rides and food to magic and fun and fireworks. So come join us on our adventures as we take you through
the Disney parks and more.
And check out our all-new channel, the FPE Network. And thanks for watching.
Smiles, laughter, togetherness. It's the stuff vacations are made of. Not just the time we spend, but the memories we make together. So let Melska Planner help you plan the most magical vacation of all. We'll make it happen while you make the memories. Melska Planner. Family vacations made magically simple.
Hang on, Dave, I don't know if you can hear me, but we can't hear you. Or I can't hear you.
That's because I pulled a rookie move and I didn't take it off mute. Welcome in again. Let's try this again, Dave. Take two. Click. Welcome into Even Strength. I am the BearShark. I was muted before, as always, with my partner, the natural Sam Welb, who just hit. And this time I have my finger. 1K. Congratulations on hitting 1,000. He is up and over, so congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. What a night it was the other night. It was crazy. off the chart.
It was
And
a shark.
there was a shark. It was chasing
Off the shark.
and I couldn't make it to safety unless we got 1,000 subscribers. And the fans, they came out, they supported, and we did it. So thank everybody, and I appreciate it so much. It's crazy.
Dallas Hockey Girl, it was because I produced the shows, and a lot of times I overlook the simplest thing because I'm talking during the intros to make sure that I don't miss a cue. I simply didn't unmute because I'm a rookie. So the coach is going to bench me tonight. Sam is in for day. No, anyway. So congratulations totally on that. If you've not been watching Sam, he's been crushing it over on his channel. He's had like 8,000 people in his chat at one time. So make sure that if you're watching us on playback, first of all, thanks for coming in. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Super important so our channels can all grow. But Sam's going to be looking for you guys to do that so he can get his memberships going. Once you can do that, then you guys can play with all kinds of emojis. Speaking of which, if you help us get there, we can give you cool hockey emojis. Don't make it happen. Anyway, so let's say hey to everybody. Moeller, man, how are you? Hockey Girl, how are you doing? Dallas Hockey Girl from the great land of Canada. And Andrew, welcome in. Morgan, how are you? Sam's not only on screen, but he's in the chat too. That's just what he does. Stream Elements Bot, thanks for being in. We got to make sure we say hi to Stream Elements Bot, otherwise he gets mad at us. So other than that, it's been a really weird week in hockey, wouldn't you say?
It has. There's been so many things going on, a bunch of ups and downs, a lot of projections. The standings have been flip-flopping like pancakes at tomorrow's buffet. It's just crazy.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because I was going to lead off with one thing, but you hit standings. So we'll kind of go to standings first. And then and while you know what? I'm going to jump over you real quick because I got to say, you know, the league, something stupid happened this week. And I just have to point it out. Then we'll go to standings because this is one of those like Peter Griffin moments where it grinds my gears. And I got to put it up on the screen because it's driving me insane. This has got to be the dumbest thing in professional sports at the moment. Now, I can make a comparison. I'm a Giants fan. I don't hide it. You go through the bad years with your team. You go through the good years with your team. I'm a Ranger Giant fan. We benched Eli, and I thought it was the stupidest thing in the world. This is up there with the stupidest things that I've seen in hockey. And people might disagree with me and blah, 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 blah. The intern coach, this isn't even like a real coach. This is the intern coach, decides what's best for the organization is to bench Keith Yandel and break his streak. And it ends at 989 games. Now, here's what really bothers me. He's an interim coach. And Keith Yandel is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. He's not even going to be a Flyer. And they destroyed his legacy. So I don't normally start shows off on a negative, but I read this about 15 minutes before we came on, and I was like, hold on a second. They literally did this. So it's actually his he beat Doug Jarvis. He was on track to beat, I think it was Phil Kessel was next. Yeah, it's Phil Kessel. I'm literally sitting here going, okay, so the guy struggled a little bit this year. You know, he's still a good defenseman. I think just about anybody would be happy to have him on their team as a defenseman, both as a veteran in the locker room. But he took it in stride the way hockey players do. He was disappointed. I think that's saying a lot. I bet you there were a lot of words exchanged behind closed doors. What's your opinion about this? I mean, I've already made it. I call it one of the biggest bonehead moves in the last couple of years. Yeah. But what's your take on Keith Yandel having to sit out and destroying an Ironman streak, not because he's hurt?
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because I was definitely going to bring it up as well. Something I caught wind of. And Philadelphia, they're in the playoffs, right? Exactly. They were close to getting in the playoffs, right? They are so far down, eliminated, just one spot, 4 points above Montreal. And how did Philadelphia do tonight? Well, they got destroyed by Toronto 6-3. So really, did it make such a difference to the organization? to ruin his legacy, ruin his streak, to pull him out for no reason at all. I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot more than just a few words said. But listen, he's still sitting at, 989. That's amazing. Is Phil Kessel going to pass that? Probably. But hey, at least, Yandel's in the conversation.
All I got to say to you is this. The only way the Flyers were playing in the playoffs this year is if they played the Devils on NHL 2021. Like, how in the world an interim coach, how his agent was not all over them going, what are you doing? This is so stupid. Again, I questioned it when we benched Eli, and I sat there and I was like, so some scrub-ass coach that's not going to be here in 15 days is going to bench the guy who's got a shot at being one of the best with streaks.
What if the manager of the Baltimore Orioles said, you know what, Cal Ripken, the weather is looking a little cloudy. I don't want you to slip and get hurt, so we're going to sit you, 1,000 games early.
I'm so upset about this. And by the way, Yandel was a Ranger. He's played for a couple different teams. He's always been he's a hockey player's hockey player. He's been hurt. He played. He was sick. He played. That's what made him an Iron Man. And it's not like he had a broken toe. It's not like he had a cracked bone in his wrist and they were like, you know what? You shouldn't play. This is, we're not going to make it. We want to make sure that we get something for you. It's not even that. They can't get anything for him. He's an unrestricted free agent.
And
he's not even a trade.
He's been doing it so quietly. Whenever you talk about Ironmans and streak going, the name you always hear is Phil Kessel, Phil Kessel, Phil Kessel. I actually didn't even realize Yandel was, 20 some odd games ahead of Kessel until the story really broke.
It's so disgusting from a league perspective because, again, we're not talking about like Giordano sitting out 2 days before or 2 games because they're getting ready to trade him. We're past the trade deadline. We're done with the year. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
I will say, though, the one good thing this story brought, because, I went and I pulled up the list and I was looking at, where they sat in terms of the 989 to the 968 to Kessel. And a couple of the names on this list, I didn't realize, like Steve Larmer, 884 games.
Yeah.
Never even clicked in. Jay Bouwmeester, I had no idea Jay Bouwmeester was that high in the Ironman streak.
Right.
And of course, Henrik Sedin is also there. So it's interesting when these types of stories happen. Yeah, they suck. It's unfair and it's, terrible for Yandel. But it's amazing. It does shed light on a lot of these other names and some of the pretty crazy accomplishments they had over their careers as well.
There's no doubt. And let me say this to you. What even ground my gears even more, top sentence, rookie defenseman. I don't even have to keep reading past that because rookie and defenseman started the sentence where you took out a 20, or he's not 20 years. He's a 15-year veteran defenseman who's been crushing it. He's had an off year. Wah. He's played for a crap team. Look at them. And, you're not going to throw this house of cards on him, but yet you decided to do this. And if you go through it so much, you read down a little further where it's like, it's possible Yandel returns to the lineup after being scratched. What? Are you even thinking about benching him the rest of the year? Are you out of your minds? Of course he's coming back. This was a bonehead move. And then what's it say as the last sentence? Yandel is an unrestricted free agent after the season.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it may have well be Ronnie from the Jersey Shore that goes in. It doesn't matter.
It should be you.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take it. I'll play for free. Yandel, it'll show if he comes back and he plays by choice. Good for him for doing that. There are a lot of other players that would say, you're going to do that to me? See you later.
I would shoot the puck in my own net if they pulled the goalie. Just to be like, yeah, let me show you how it's done. Because let me tell you something. ultimate bonehead moves. I read this and I was like, and just for people who don't know, I almost bought a Yandle jersey. I thought a lot of him. He's a really good, solid defenseman. He is, and you said it best. He's underrated only because he does the job. He doesn't sit there. He's not flashy. He's not going end to end. He's not scoring millions of pucks. He's hitting, and he is a blue liner's blue liner. And you know what? I bet you that there's a ton of people right now all around the league looking at this going, I don't want to play for Philadelphia, and I sure as hell ain't going to play for that coach, because if he can do this to him, he can do it to any one of us when it comes to any streak. And right now, I hate to say this, but the Flyers had one black eye because they can't find the playoffs. Well, they have two now, and that other one's swollen shut. That is just a horrible look.
Yeah, it's gonna make life that much more difficult in the offseason when they're trying to sign and bring some names and rebuild that team.
You're exactly right. And that's actually, I think that's kind of the point is as they're looking around the league and they start to say, players are starting to come in and they go, well, wait a minute. What did you do to Yandle?
Yeah.
Here's a guy who gave you everything he had every game. So he's having a slump. Who cares? You don't bench the guy. Maybe cut his ice time. I could understand that. You want to teach him a lesson. You put him down as, bottom D pair, which is stupid, but you want to do it. You want to cut him down to 8 minutes of ice time. Fine. You don't want him on a power play. Okay, great. But you benched an Iron Man.
Yeah.
You didn't bench him. You iced him. It's a bad look. And you know what? Shame on you. Let's start a section. Shame on you.
There's a lot that could go in there.
Well, we actually will get to some of those things. I want to get to some of the positivity so that everyone doesn't come in and go, oh my God, these guys hate they hate hockey. We love hockey. This was a bad look for hockey. And sometimes, look, other sports may not necessarily call out the negative things. Hockey players do it differently. There's something we're going to talk about in a minute, and I love the interview if you saw it. You know what? Let's skip positivity for right now. Let's go to the next thing that actually I think we should talk about, because this is when you know that hockey players, we're a little different in the sense that, and I say we like I'm out there dropping the gloves every night. The interview that's associated with this, now obviously I can't play it because the NHL doesn't like us and says, no, you were bad. Here's a copyright. But I'm going to put this one up because this was tasteless across the board. This is the Terry Beagle fight. And I should play my fight reel, but the truth is it wasn't a fight. I'm probably one of the biggest proponents, and I sit there and say, I absolutely love fights in hockey. If you saw this was disgusting. It is a cheap shot followed by 50 cheap shots. You took a 32 goal scorer and beat him. This is almost as bad as Tom Wilson on Antemi Panarin last year. I think this is what's wrong with hockey right now, and someone should. I mean, this is embarrassing. And there was an interview after the game. He would not say Terry's name. He goes, the hockey player who did it, and you are. We all know who it was. But hockey players are a different class of people. We're going to call you out, but we do it in a hockey way. So I don't know. Did you see this fight or this wannabe fight?
I didn't see the clip. I hadn't gone back and watched it yet, but it's just, there's too much of this stuff happening, and where this is coming from, it all stems back, and we talk about it every single week. It's horrible officiating that lets things get too far until somebody snaps or somebody does something dumb, and it just goes that extra mile. And I get it, right? As players, they need to be able to control their emotions. They know what's right from wrong, but sometimes things just get away from you, right?
Well, here's what happened, because I actually watched it, and I went back and I reviewed it. Goaltenders over on what we're looking at would be the right side of the screen where the ref has his hand on the back of the crossbar, so the inside crossbar. The goalie is laying outside the crease, okay, laying back, laying on his back, The puck is clearly, and I don't mean like a little bit, it's clearly loose. What's a hockey player going to do? They stick their stick in.
Got to go for it.
Okay, he's going to grab the puck. He's trying to get it out. Why? There's nobody in the net. Okay, this is an easy one. So what happens? He gets cross-checked from behind. Absolutely blatant, dirty cross. Both hands. He goes face first to the ice. Scrum ensues. Fight breaks out. Haymakers are thrown. 32 goal scorer this year. NHL superstar gets his head punched in with a severe eye laceration.
Brutal.
This is stupid. Okay. Now, the best part about it is nothing really came out of this year. I would love to sit there and say that these teams are DNB, welcome in. I would love to sit, and Amy H, hello. Would love to say that these it mattered. Like they were going to do something. These are teams, again, you're talking about and I'm not saying that they're irrelevant teams, but the Coyotes, the Ducks, like we're not talking about two heavyweights. We're talking about like really. And I was really shocked by this. And I thought that, but I just wanted to point it out because we were talking about how hockey players deal with stuff. And it was just really funny afterwards. Go and watch the interview. You'll sit there and laugh because it's a pissed off hockey player who they're like, now you behave. You can be mad, but don't say anything bad.
Yeah. And we'll have to see what comes out of this because there have been a few things that have come up. We've talked about Peros before.
Funny you should say that. I'm going to bring that up while you're talking.
All right, perfect. So we had in the Toronto-Boston game, which was a spectacular game, we had incidents where, John Tavares was falling down and guy runs his head into the boards, no call, no nothing. We had to call Lyubushkin, who's been one of our best defensemen, and maybe because I just like saying his name, I think he's Lyubushkin. Yep. He and Taylor Hall had a little bit of a dust up, right? Hard collision into the boards. He gets up, starts skating away, and Hall reaches around and punches him side of the head, takes him down. Hall gets a $5,000 fine.
Yep.
$5,000, that's it. But if that was, anybody on the Maple Leaf who did that, it's an instant 2-game suspension.
Now, funny you should say that because same game, Arizona Coyotes versus the Anaheim Ducks. We have a same game. Now, here's the amazing thing. Player safety got a hold of this one. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down because you can clearly see right here. You see the picture. What do you see? You see Shattenkirk getting slashed.
I think he was just holding his stick like a microphone, and they were doing some karaoke as the play
yes,
was going on.
That's exactly what was happening. It was pre-game, pre-end of the game karaoke. So he gets a 1-game suspension for slashing.
And
there it is.
Richie used to be a Leaf too, so that's
Well, that's why he got it.
Yeah.
So, and it's like it went right to his head. I get this. Incident occurred at the end of the first period. He swung his stick, hit him, and that's where we get to. And then what does it say right here? Tempers flared later on. Both teams get up again in the third period. Jay Beagle delivering a cross check. And then what happens? Punches, blah, 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 causing left cheek and eye. Okay, so Terry's face is just torn up. If you see the pictures afterwards, you're going to be like, wow. Now, look at this one line right here where it says Anaheim went on to win 5-0. 5-0.
Was it that game, excuse me, that Zegras did the Michigan where he pulled the puck over and wrapped it around the net, but he did it around his own player into the net?
I think you're right, but I don't know because I actually didn't watch the game. It's just there was so much going on in this game. And I think you're actually right. Hang on. Maybe that's what they were saying in the story, and I skimmed over it.
There was a picture. I don't remember where I saw the picture. It might have been on Twitter. But where, for those who don't know what the Michigan is, you kind of take your stick and you flick the puck up so you have it on the blade of your stick, and you wrap it around into the top side of the net. You can't stop it. But there was a defender there, and the defender kind of was like doing one of these to get out of the way, and he wrapped the stick around the defender and still flipped it into the top of the net. It was a pretty spectacular thing.
It should be called the booyah.
It should.
Booyah!
It's
You
like,
know, it's like
remember NBA Jam? How they had
Andrew
all the-
actually just dropped it in, so he's confirming he did do the Michigan in that game.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, if you remember NBA Jam, they had the grandmama and all the funny things. We need a hockey game like that.
You know, it would be great if we did. If they took like Blades of Steel and brought that back with like, you know, like, you want some of this? You know, that would be great. There would be a lot of those things that would be really entertaining if only they would go after that. And like I said, I'm not trying to be like Mr. Negativity, but this week was a bad week for some of the things. Dallas Hockey Girl is killing me right now because she has put in hashtag Save Pillow Hands a couple of times. So let me say this. First of all, Pillow Hands didn't fight this week. Why? He's got pillow hands. He did score.
What?
He scored his third goal of the year. And let me tell you something. Do you know who was the most surprised person? Because it wasn't me. It was Pillow Hands himself. He was shocked. He couldn't believe it went in. Like, he's like this. He's like,
in the post-game interview, they asked, how was it scoring that goal? And he said, I scored? Sorry, I blacked out.
Yeah. He was like, I was brought in for fighting, but I don't do that either. And I was like, yeah, you don't score, you don't fight. And by the way, article comes out today. Reeves is okay with his lack of ice time. You know why? Because he signed a contract. He's just like, let me put my feet up.
Yeah.
I don't have to do anything. I'm at the end of my career. Somebody was dumb enough to give me $2.5 million. I'm going to have a beer real quick.
Yeah. 100%. Hey, here's another one talking about silly incidents and whatnot. Jeannot from Nashville, you know, good player, doing his thing, gets fined $2,000 for kneeing. That's okay, right? Hey, it happens. What happened to everybody else that got called and went to player safety for kneeing this year? Oh, they got 2-game suspensions. What happens to Jason Spezza from the Leafs when he knees a guy? He gets 6-game suspension. So I know we've talked about Peros and these ridiculous things, you know, a couple weeks ago. They just keep coming up. Listen, George, let me talk to you for a sec. George, if you're listening, if you're watching, you're making this too easy. Just be a little more consistent. We'll leave you alone, I swear. Thanks, George.
You know, the thing is you actually brought it up before. We've already picked on George, and we probably could continue to do so. But the thing is if the refs aren't, you know, it's like anything else. If they're not calling it from the top of the league down, the refs don't know what to do, and they call it inconsistent.
Yep.
Players know what the rules are. They got no problem enforcing their own rules. There's a part of me that's going, hey, I got an idea. Let's just leave the linesman out there. Let the players sort it out. We don't need penalties. Now, that wouldn't be good for the Rangers because we're amazing on the power play.
So are we, number 1 in the league. Just saying.
What up, too?
Wouldn't that be something to, if each team, you know, a lot of them, they set up cameras at practice, and when the players are walking by, they say, hey, what's your favorite karaoke song? What's your favorite this? Wouldn't it be great if describe this penalty, and they just had a bunch of clips of a bunch of random players trying to describe all the different penalties? That would be hysterical.
I'd pay to watch that. I'd highlight it on the show and take the copyright. But I mean, you know, there's a part of me that sits here and goes, with the amount of technology that we have today, there is no excuse for some of these calls.
For sure.
You know, Toronto has the ability to overturn virtually anything. And which leads me to a question. We now have 4 refs on the ice. Okay, 2 linesmen, 2 refs. Why don't we have one guy sprinting back and forth like we used to in like the 80s and 90s? Take one of those guys and stick him up in the box and let him have bird's eye view. Some of this stuff they're not seeing because they're out of position. There's 7 bigger guys than them in front of them, and they miss the obvious stick to the face. You know, there's a part where you sit there and you go, literally enough is enough. You know, I mean, some of these guys are like, oh, well, guess what? He's not looking. Boom, shakalaka.
Yeah.
Some of these boarding calls, the ref is standing next to them.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking to his right.
Yep. And then it's the ref halfway down the ice that's making a call, if anything. And I think you hit it on the head. The players, they're bigger, they're faster. The game is moving a lot faster. The refs, you know, as great of skaters they are, it's really tough for them to keep up because things happen and when the players get a jump, yes, one ref is almost at the red line already, but the players break out and move so fast, they can't get down the ice quick enough. And when they do, they're watching the play. They're not watching what's going on behind the play. Unless you have a ref that's kind of caught up because he's, players kind of sweep into him or something. But I think it's just they're too quick and there's too much going on. I think taking one of those guys off the ice and putting them up in a in the bird's nest to watch down below, I think would be a spectacular use of that resource. And it would just give that much more free ice for the players to play.
Well, and again, you actually just hit on my next point. How many linesmen or refs have been hit with pucks this year? Yeah. They keep hitting them as they're trying to get out of the zone. Why? Because the ref is looking at something else. The puck gets wrapped around, it hits the glass, it holds the glass as it's going out, it whacks them in the back. And then it's like, then the puck stays in the zone. D's are, you got your offense already breaking because they're trying to get a jump on the puck because that's what they're practicing. And then the puck drops. Now it's a 4-on-2 in your zone. And it's kind of stupid. So, I would say that there's an obvious advantage for that too. But let's be perfectly honest. We've both been on the ice.
Yep.
Right? If you're sitting, I don't know how tall you are, but the average ref is the size of an average hockey player. Average hockey player is 5'10", 5'11". All right. So you get some of these guys who are 6+, and there are a bunch of them, and they're skating down the ice. First of all, on skates, yeah, all right, you're 3 inches or so higher. But as soon as you lean in to start skating, you immediately became shorter. These guys aren't skating standing straight up. That's not the way that you skate. And it's like if they're skating going into the zone and their head is up and they're looking, first of all, they're making sure, A, they don't hit anything. They don't get hit by the puck. They don't do this. There's 50 things that they're doing. The guy next to him hooks him as he's going into the zone. He completely misses it.
Yep.
It's almost flawed by design. I'm 4'8". I could be a referee. You know what? I think you're probably more astute than the referee, so I would take you.
Yeah, I think it's going to take something big. We've seen a lot of games end up, overtime games winning because the refs missed a call or the puck, hits somebody inadvertently or hits a glove on the bench and it doesn't get called. I think it's going to take something happening in like the Stanley Cup Finals that's going to make a big outcry. And then
you just said something really interesting and I didn't mean to cut you off, but you said something and I'll forget. How the hell can you screw up overtime? There's 6 guys on the ice. It's not like there's 11 people and the goalie's been pulled and they're all in the zone in front of the net. Like, we're not talking about there's twice as many people. There's half as many. How can you miss a blade? I'm sorry.
It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. We need to find an official to come on the show and sit down and talk us through their process. I would be so interested to hear what they feel from their perspective, what they're seeing or what they're not seeing.
I would love for it to be a former official because the official that's on the ice now is never going to tell you. But it's really, let's see, is New Jersey Devils a great team? Just asking. The Devils are literally battling for last place next year. They're that bad. So, and I'll leave it at that, Jeffrey. They're atrocious. I think right now they're 30 some odd points out of playoff contention. I think it's 30 something, like 34, 35 points out.
Yeah. So they're sitting at 54 points right now.
Yeah. And just to kind of put it in perspective, we're sitting at 93. So, they're horrible. But, the simple thing is you're not wrong in the sense that it'll be something when it counts the most and it's going to hurt. You want to know what it'll be? It'll be when the Rangers go to the Cup this year. And it'll just be something just brutal and I'll have a friggin' aneurysm.
Well, it's like the Brett Hall toe in the crease when the goal was scored, right?
What an atrocious thing, right? But, it comes down to what we were saying before. One of the things that drives me nuts about these refs right now is where they're positioned and they're making this call with this fast whistle and this intent to blow the whistle thing. Don't even get me started on intent to blow the whistle because I'll intend to say clean things and really bad things will come out.
Yes. But I think it's okay if the intent is there to be clean.
Exactly. I didn't mean to drop 19 F-bombs in a row, YouTube. But the simple truth is they're standing outside the trapezoid, behind the net, off to the side, calling. I can't see the puck through 7 players on the other side of the net when the goaltender does not have the puck and they're blowing the play dead. Let them play.
Absolutely.
When the players start to hit each other, it's because guess what? The goalie has control. Do you also understand something, Mr. Referee? He has more pads on than anybody. You could hit him with a car. He'd be okay.
Yeah.
Like,
it's unbelievable. Well, hey, if we switch it up, let's keep down this track because there's a few, I don't want to call them negative, but there's a few things on the wrong side of the game, I just want to call attention to. And it's really not that bad, actually. We have a bunch of teams eliminated officially, mathematically. Coyotes, see you later. Devils, bye-bye, 4th straight season.
the Devils still have a team?
Yeah. Seattle Kraken, sorry, you're not getting the Cinderella season that Vegas had in their first year. They're out. Flyers, they're out. So the list of teams in the divisions is dwindling ever so quickly. And I'm sure more will be eliminated tonight. I just haven't gone through and done the math.
Yeah. And, it's kind of funny to watch, and I'm going to kind of pull them up. Panthers sitting at 100 points. Maple Leafs. What did I say to you last week, by the way? Because I sat there and said, you cannot count you out. You were too darn close. Where are you sitting right now? 2nd place.
I think tonight was
Sammy jumped up from 4 to 2. And who did you jump over? Lightning and Bruins.
Yes.
I couldn't make me any happier if I tried. But, you look down at the bottom of this list, like you were saying, Canadians. 49 points. Did you really – I know you're a Toronto fan, but did you really expect to see Canadians at the bottom of the division? I thought Senators would be down there.
Yeah, a big part of that is the whole Carey Price fiasco.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, it hurt them, but I did not think they would be at the bottom. I thought they'd be towards the bottom, but not.
Well, the best part is let's remember that number 49 as we scroll through. Hurricanes sitting at 98, Rangers sitting right behind them, 5 points. So we jumped up second in division by beating the Penguins again with a game in hand. So that's always nice. Capitals are still holding at 84. They're going up and down, up and down. We did, however, get spanked by the Islanders the other night, which was just an embarrassment. 3-0, get blanked out. But even the Flyers and the Devils are above that 49 part. And it's like, I wonder if there's anybody in the West that's that bad. Avalanche holding at 104. I think they're in line for that President's Cup. The Wild. Look at the difference between Avalanche and Wild. 104 to 89.
It's crazy.
Ouch. Then you come down and look who it is. It's the Coyotes at 47.
Just, yeah.
So you sit there and you go, you know what? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you guys should play a little cleaner.
And can we, talking about the Coyotes for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, they stink, but they've just had all kinds of luck. We know they've had financial issues. They moved to to that 5,000 seat stadium because they can't afford their big stadium. And Clayton Keller, he's out for the rest of the season, broke his leg in the last game. They're just all kinds of bad luck right now for the guy.
And you just gave the justification for why they benched Yandel. People are like, oh, well, that's the point right there. You can't have Yandel getting hurt, blah, blah. He's an unrestricted free agent, people. He's not going to be there next year anyway. The Coyotes are lucky they still have a franchise.
Yeah.
When you bring in Wayne Gretzky and he can't turn you around and he goes, nah, I'm done. I'm done coaching. I'm gonna head to the broadcast booth.
Yeah.
What's that?
So I was going to say, time to move Phoenix back to Hartford or Quebec.
They need to go away. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, I kind of said this. If we'd been doing the show when they announced the fact that we were going to have the Kraken, I was like, why not just move the Coyotes there? Because they suck. And it's like, maybe they'll get some support. Maybe the city will throw some money behind it. But there's a lot of places with good hockey people that don't have hockey teams now. I'm not saying that Coyotes are managed well. They're not. Their front office is atrocious. They look, not every state should have hockey. I'll give you that one. Watch this show instead. But if you look down there, look who also is holding at 48 points just underneath. So you have the Kraken, who, as you said, no Cinderella season for you guys. You guys are just not, Vegas. When I saw who they drafted, I didn't think that they were in a good position. I was really surprised at the moves they made at the trade deadline. I don't know if you were, but it was like, I'm not saying you don't need more draft picks, but you dumped half your team for draft picks. It's like
they're just taking a mulligan. They want to start over.
They could start over all they want. They're like 5 years away from being a team because all they did was take draft picks. Now they're not all number ones, so all those folks that they're going to go ahead and draft, you know what's going to happen? They're going to have to go to an AHL or a East Coast Hockey League, or something along those lines. You're going to see them as an ECHL team, but
it wouldn't shock me too if they, on draft deadline day, trade some of the lower picks.
I would
Or
imagine
if they pick up some decent prospects and flip them for some NHL talent. It's still not going to help them. They're not going to get any superstars that way.
Even with the what they're doing, because I agree with you that's what they're doing is they're going to go to people and go, yeah, guess what? You don't have any draft picks. We got 400. What do you want to deal for some draft picks? You guys suck too. And by the way, one of those teams that I would go after would be the Coyotes and be like, you guys are in a rebuilding stage. You guys need this. The Devils are another one. Philadelphia is another one. There's a lot of really bottom of the barrel teams right now that have good players. Thankfully, they could probably pick up Keith Yandle pretty cheap. Unrestricted free agent, if I didn't mention that already.
Do you think they can just trade Phoenix a stadium? Say, hey, we'll take some of your players. We'll give you a stadium. Or cash.
I wouldn't give it to them. I think no one will go.
Yeah.
They're better off letting them play in like a kids stadium. At least then they'd fill it.
They come up to West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah, there you go. They could play in Mall of America and become America's team.
There you go.
So, as you look through, there are some teams that if you had asked me at the beginning of the year, did I think they would be down this low? The Sharks are another one that I didn't expect to be that low. The Canucks. Oilers are sitting in third place, but they look like a last place team. I am just not impressed with what they did this year. And again, everybody keeps talking about the Flames. I think it's a lack of the other team. I think it's just the other teams are so bad that they just look good.
Yeah. Although I will say in some of the interesting kind of not mainstream categories like plus minus and not ice time. I think plus minus. Calgary has like 3 of the top 5 spots for players with the best plus minus in the league.
Which I don't know. Again, if what you're playing against is the worst, doesn't that mean that your guys look better? I mean, if they were playing the Avalanche every 5th game, they'd be in last place. And they're just, I don't know. I don't think that they're as good as we're giving them credit for, or everyone else is. Like right now, Dallas Hockey Girl just dropped in. Calgary 2, St. Louis 2. Calgary shouldn't be tied with St. Louis right now.
Well, St. Louis has Brett Hull and Adam Oates, right?
That's Hall Oates.
Oh, it's Hall Oates. Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's Janny and Hall now.
I was like, wait a minute, that's a Hall and Oates song. Oh, here she comes. So, but speaking of playoff stuff, we have a segment that is in. For those of you who have been missing her, she's just trying to wrap up school. She'll be back with us soon, live on the air. So we're going to go ahead, pause for a second, run a segment known as Fight Club. Krystal's Corner. You can take a drink. It's okay. Dude, I drink the entire show. Krystal's Corner is back this week. Krystal sent us in a video. We're going to send it off to her for just a second so that she can get her 2 cents in as to what's going on in the playoffs. Take it away for us, Krystal. Take it away, Vern.
What's up, hockey fans? The Crystal Palace here, and I love playoff hockey talk. The Eastern Conference is tough. There are such great teams, and it's going to be hard to get out of the East. So if the playoffs started today, let's take a look at some of the matchups. First of all, we have the Panthers and the Capitals. Washington's a very physical team, and the Panthers don't have a lot of experience in the playoffs. The last time they won a playoff series was in 1996. We know that Washington experience, but Florida is a very good team coming into the playoffs, so we'll see how that plays out. The next series, if the playoffs started today, would be the Hurricanes and the Bruins. They played each other in the 2020 first round of the playoffs, and the Bruins did win that series, but this year, we all know it's different. The Hurricanes are a solid team. They look amazing, and I do hope that they can knock off some of the Rangers' rivals in the first round. That would be nice for us Rangers fans. Next up, we have Toronto versus Tampa Bay. Would the Leafs rather face Florida or Tampa? Both Florida teams, I'm sure Sam can talk about more about that on the Toronto side. And also, Sam, congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. Very well deserved. The next series would be the Rangers and the Penguins. The Rangers are looking really solid with their new additions from the trade deadline. This past week, the Rangers beat the Penguins 3-1 with goals from Vatrano, our new addition, Schneider, and Chris Kreider.
Bam!
The East is going to be hard to get out of. I'll be impressed with any team that can get out of the East and win the Eastern Conference champions. I hope it's the Rangers, but we'll see. I'm excited to see how the rest of the regular season goes and where the matchups end up. In other news, there will be a new video out on the Krystal Palace YouTube channel tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I hope to see you all there. Until next time, hockey fans.
So, Krystal, great job, by the way. Couldn't agree with you more. And what she left out is we didn't just beat the Penguins once, we beat them twice. So I'm excited to play them if we go into the first round against the Penguins, because it's not that they're not going to be looking for retribution, but I don't think the Penguins of today are the Penguins of yesteryear. We've talked about how age may finally be catching up to them, and the Rangers are one thing. They're not old. We have a ton of young talent. It was funny because Antemi Panarin was asked about something the other day. He goes, I'm going to let the coach the team. I'm only 25. And, you know, when you put that in perspective and you realize he's Antemi Panarin, and I mean, that's the bread man right there. Chris Kreider is almost one of our aging veterans at 28. And it's like the rest of the team is young. So Pittsburgh, you better take your Geritol and Metamucil and bring it, I guess.
It would be a great series. If they end up playing together in the first round, it's going to be amazing. And she asked a question in there, you know, for Toronto, who'd you rather play, Florida or Tampa? Well, Krystal, perfect timing of that question, because we are playing Tampa Bay tomorrow and then Florida on Tuesday. And guess where you can find somebody streaming both those games? That's right. Over on this guy's channel, Sam Welb 12 Experience. We are doing both.
I don't have a finger.
Awesome. There you go. Your finger's back. So we are doing both those games. They are going to be insane, and it's going to really show us what Toronto can do, because they're going to be two back-to-back tough matchups. We also have had a lot of trouble in the goalie category. Jack Campbell, who hurt his ribs, actually came back tonight. Thank goodness. Our backup, Shalgren, has been great. But Peter Mrazek, shocker, just went down out for the season with a groin injury. Never saw that.
Out for the season?
Out for the season. 6 weeks.
Wow.
So I think he's played a total of, 10 games for $4.5 million?
I got to say this to you, and this is more of a question than the statement. Did they do it to clear him off the roster since they tried to waive him and no one would take him? They just put him on a season-ending IR so that they could make a move, maybe? I don't know, because the laws of we need an additional player to play kind of trump some of the other things. So I wonder what you guys will do now. This ought to be interesting.
It'll be interesting. He went down very similarly to what happened at the beginning of the season. He went down, went to make a butterfly style save, and he was done right after that. He got up and went straight to the bench, hobbled off, and it was ugly. So tough luck in the goalie situation. So we'll have to see what'll happen. It's been a great week. We beat Florida once. We beat Boston, now Philly. We'll see what we can do against Tampa.
So what is it? Would you rather play Tampa or Panthers?
I would actually right now, I'd probably take Tampa because Florida's just super hot. Man, they're looking so good
between now and then. You never know.
True. It is so true. Toronto's just picking it up. We haven't seen much of Tampa. They've been consistent, but they haven't been unbelievable. So I would kind of take my luck against them. who knows what Boston's going to do too, right? That second round isn't going to be an easy. If it ended up being, as it's listed, Toronto and Tampa right now, and if we ended up having to take on Carolina or Boston in the second or third round, man, that's going to be a real tough ride to the cup. I mean, I think the Eastern Conference is going to be the harder conference for sure, I think, in my opinion.
So I got to say this to the chat. If you guys come on screen and we're not situated like this, where I'm not over the Ranger symbol and he's not over the Toronto, will somebody please tell me I'm stupid? Because that is the third week in a row. I look down and go, I'm not a Maple Leafs fan. I want to be decked out in blue, and not Toronto blue, but Ranger blue. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting round to see what happens next. I always worry this time of the year, and I don't know if you share my angst, but you get on a roll and you're going, and it's like if a team is good, you shouldn't worry about peaking too soon. But I always worry about peaking before the playoffs. And it's like I'm sweating it hard. I'm like, all right, so we're good. We're gelling. The new guys are coming in. They're starting to work, blah, blah, blah. And it's rough. It's like I'm worried because we start getting in. What do we got left? About 2 weeks?
You got the full month. You got four solid weeks. The season ends. 4
solid weeks? I thought.
Season ends for us anyways on the 29th. But I think most teams will finish in that last week of the month.
No, I'll take your word for it because it's funny because most years I always sit there and I always think it's around tax season because it's so depressing. It's like it's tax season and hockey ends, and it's like maybe it's just because I knew the Rangers were getting eliminated the last couple of years, and this year I'm like, we're going on, woo! I just noticed in here, and by the way, I'm one of the few Americans that can sing "O Canada," so I am an honorary Canadian because I love your sport more than I love ours. And with that, boop, because that probably just got me in a lot of trouble on our Monday Night Breaking Ball show. Everyone's going to be like, oh, the producer of the show doesn't like baseball. I didn't say that. I said I like your sport more than ours because I'm a huge hockey fan.
You could have been talking about curling over archery?
I'm pretty sure the American pastime. I can say unequivocally I hate NFL's America's team. How about that?
There you go.
I'm a Giant fan, and I have no love lost for the Cowboys whatsoever. When you go ahead and you watch the football season with us and you see me in my Giants jersey with my Giants background, it'll all make sense. But until then, yes, I am one of the few people, and thanks to the movie Youngblood, I learned how to sing "O Canada." And it's because his brother's driving him. I think he was driving him to Thunder Bay, and he goes, "There's something you do have to learn." He goes, "What's that?" And he starts singing "O Canada." And since I've seen the movie 66,000 times, I picked it up.
That's awesome. I love that story. That's
great.
It's
amazing. Everyone always says you don't learn anything from movies or TV. That is not true.
There you go.
I learned "O Canada."
If we look at the Western Conference a little bit. If the season ended today, you have Colorado, Dallas, who I think we can agree Colorado takes that, 4 or 5. Calgary versus Nashville, which I think is going to go 6 or 7. I think that's going to be one heck of a series. Nashville, kind of my underdog pick. But, I like Calgary, so that's tough. Minnesota, St. Louis, I think Minnesota takes that again, probably 5 or 6. And LA, Edmonton, that's tough. My heart wants to say Edmonton because I want to see them do something, but I think LA would take them.
I think, and here's where we're going to throw it out because it's the one that I definitely disagree with you on is Edmonton. I think that, and what did I say to you before? They're playing like a last place team. They're not. They have the pieces. They just can't seem, and they're the type of team. Remember I said to you about peaking too soon?
Yeah.
They may be the ones who just get it together like 15 minutes before they go on the ice game 1, and they come out and you're like, where were you all season? And it can absolutely happen. Hold on a second. Old theme or new theme? Is there a new "O Canada" that I don't know about? Did you guys did you change the song?
They changed a word.
I don't want to know.
I'm
going to go old because Youngblood came out, 84? 86. So I'm going to go with I know the old version because the new, I'm assuming it has something to do with things you're not supposed to say anymore or something. So
Yeah, their Dallas called it out. They said, I'm like singing it in my head trying to get it back. They took all our sons and made it all of us because saying sons isn't politically correct.
I knew it was a PC thing. It's there's a particular park in this country. There's a couple of them around the world. It's no longer ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So I guess my manners from the 80s have to go out the windows. So I guess I should just learn Canadian euphemisms. Just say, hey, you, eh? And then we'll just call it a day.
You say, hey, and all of Canada turns their head.
Yes. Hey, what? Are you talking to me? No, I was talking to him, eh? Which A? That A, eh? No, A, B.
That's when those big northern winds kind of blow down to the northern states. It's because someone called to Canada and everyone turned their heads at the same time, and it created that wind that blows the cold air down.
Canadian wave. Instead of the wave, it's the Canadian A. Huh? So, but yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day with the playoffs this year, we're getting close. We're going to start, making our predictions. Obviously, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch as we go through it. What will be really a lot of fun is when you and I play. That's going to be one where we're going to have to, now that YouTube allows us to collaborate, we'll have to call it me on one side, you on the other. We'll have a little fun. We'll do a collaboration for that. And then be great to meet in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. That would be awesome.
So much fun. Because it's not like anything else. It's not like, because if you win, it's not that I'm going to be happy for you, but I won't be unhappy for you. I'll be like, well, at least you went through, and now I can root for a Floridian team to wipe the floor with you. So I'll tell you how I really feel later.
Yeah.
But, let's see. BearShark, what about cricket? Do you watch cricket? I really should have a witty comeback for that, but I don't. And I'm just going to go with no. I was going to go chocolate covered cricket, but it's a little long in the tooth. So I think standings wise, we're pretty much exactly where we were last week. There's no real big difference. The biggest thing in this, out of every team, you had the most improvement.
Yeah, we had a good week. We had a good few games, took 4 in a row, really propelled us up. And that's why these next couple weeks are going to be so huge to really flesh out what these series are going to look like. Because I know for us, and just because the games I'm doing, we see Tampa, we have Florida a couple times, Washington's in there, Boston's in there, a few, I don't want to say gimmies, but the Montreal and Detroit's are coming through.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough month, but it's going to be a fun month.
Well, and I think that's kind of where we're at with the remainder of the season. I think what's going to happen at this point is, there's going to be great things that we get to pick on. What exactly do I mean by that? I'm just going to flash this up on the screen because I've been waiting the entire night to make fun of them. I've actually taken several shots at them, but I just couldn't help it. That's where we are, I mean, we're getting ready for playoffs. There's a lot of stupid calls. I didn't really like to go, oh yeah, Matt's got up to 50. So that was news this week.
So there's a couple big milestones this week, couple things to go over. Matthews gets his 50 and today got his 51st goal. So good for number 34 there. He's climbing up. He's trying to catch, 54 was Rick Vive, who I think holds most goals in a Leaf season at 54. Dave Anderchuk's at 53. You have Vive again at 52. And Austin is now tied with Gary Lehman and Vive again with 51. So we're watching to see if Austin's going to pull it out, if he's going to beat Rick Vive past 54 goals. He should. There's enough hockey left that he should probably end up with, 58. He probably gets 60, which would be pretty amazing. He just seems to have that touch. Of course, his 50th goals, like most milestone goals, ends up being an empty netter with like 2 seconds left. But it was nice. It was a nice moment. So good for him. Way to go, Austin. That's a huge accomplishment. One of the other big milestones for the Leafs this week as well, Mitch Marner gets his he's the quickest in franchise history to get to 300 assists. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty wild. Not only did Matthews and Marner have a huge kind of week, Connor McDavid, first player to hit 100 points this year. I mean, no surprise he was going to get there. But when looking at the score sheet, it looks like there's a handful of players that could hit 100 points this year. That would be something. And the other big kind of record or milestone this week, Jonathan Huberdeau, who we talked about a couple weeks ago, who broke the Florida Panthers record for most assists in a season with 62, now has set an NHL record for a left wing, because maybe there's a right wing or a center who got more, but for a left wing with his 71st assist of the year.
I just like to say Huberdeau.
Huberdeau.
And it just, I don't know why, but it reminds me of a bagel. Like, I want one of those Huberdeau bagels. Can I get that? Can I get that roast beef on Huberdeau?
I'll get an everything, a pumpernickel, and a Huberdeau.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you want cream cheese on the Huberdeau? Yeah, give me 2 of those. Give me a meatball parm and 2 Huberdeaus. So and one of the things, I don't know if it's near and dear to you. It's near and dear to us. Autism is something, it affects a lot of people nowadays. So it's something that's near and dear to our family. It affects our family on a daily basis. So the fact that it is being brought to light, with it being National Autism Day, National Autism Month, super great to see the NHL doing things for sensory kits to the fans. A lot of times fans can't go, or we have to be prepared. If we go to a game or anything, I've got to bring earmuffs with us to make sure that my youngest can, that she doesn't get overloaded. And at the end of the day, it's one of those things where I'm really, really happy to see someone finally moving forward with this. It's always amazed to me, because most people know, we're Disney people, and it has always surprised me that Legoland is the one that led the way with sensory. And it was because there was more kids, and it had to do with the pieces fitting, which is, autism's thing. Let's make the pieces fit together. But I am super proud of the NHL for doing something like this. You're in a closed arena, and you are giving sensory kits to fans with autism. And you know what? If I had my hockey stick here, I'd give you a little tap. I'm going to take my hat off and give you a little good job, NHL. Thank you for doing that for different fans, showing that the fans do matter to us. And that the people that do battle autism and have those issues on a daily basis, thank you for making them important. It is something that, again, it's near and dear to us. It's one of those things where we do sit there, and there's FPEN Plus in there. That's my wife at the moment. Well, not my wife at the moment. It's my wife in here, not as Explorer Jen. She's FPEN Plus at the moment. But we deal with Asperger's on a daily basis. We deal with it as a strength, not as a weakness. And what we do is we believe that it's an empowerment. Not all kids go through that. Not all adults go through that. We all battle. That's why it's called the spectrum. But NHL, hats off to you. Fantastic done. I love the direction, the way that the NHL is going, not only with autism, but with women's empowerment, the way that they're dealing with certain things, the way that they deal with PC and with racism around the world. And hats off to you again. Really, really makes me proud to be a hockey fan over some of the other sports where they do some of the most reprehensible things. So
very well said. Yeah, very well said. I know this has been doing a little bit of work in the sports and entertainment industry several years back. It's been a conversation that's been going on for a long time. And the conversation was, we need to do something. Let's do something. But nobody knew the answers. Nobody knew what is the right thing. How do we do it? How do we execute? And it's so great to see the NHL leading the way as a league to do this.
Couldn't agree more. I'm glad it's a part of the conversation now. And if if anybody in the NHL world is actually watching, anything is better than nothing. So, and if you're in the NFL, NBA, anything else, do something. Doing nothing isn't an option. And at this point, to every mom, dad, brother, sister, whoever who battles this every single day, you're a warrior, and we are so honored to be a part of it with you. FPE as a whole, we deal with Give Kids the World, but another thing that we deal with is with autism. So we will be working with a lot of different things organizationally, not only with Give Kids the World, but also with autism. So stay tuned for FPE to also battle that as well. The program will be called, more than likely, I've joked around with it a couple of times, but Dropping the Gloves with Autism. And I think it would be, I want to bring some humor to it, because at the end of the day, I believe in laughing at almost everything. I believe laughter is actually the best form of medicine. If we're laughing at something, it means that we can't get angry. It means that we can have a difference of opinion about how things are handled, but we can handle them. And it just means that we need to bring the discussion up. So again, kudos to the NHL. And I'm proud of them. So it's one of the few times they got something right. And that was my dig at the NHL. So,
well, to end it on a light note.
Yep.
You know why this is such a successful program? You know who's not in charge of running it?
George Paris. I'll tell you what, that joke's never going to get old. You know what the worst part about him is even after he leaves, we're still going to make fun of him. And it really just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he does. He is literally he's like another particular and I can't get into it, but there's another person in the realm of FPE that everyone likes to make fun of. We don't make fun of him on FPE because at the end of the day, I can't. So but on Sports Network, I absolutely can take shots at them.
There you go. You know what? I can't wait, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when we're seeing a bunch of these players going into the Hall of Fame and they're sitting around having a nice fancy dinner and they say, hey, you got suspended like 4 games, right? Peros. Oh, yeah, right.
That's when they all go clank.
Yeah.
And it's like, But you remember that day that Tom Wilson smashed Antemi Panarin's head? Nothing happened to him.
No.
And everyone's going to go, Barrows.
Okay,
and that's just and that's going to be like the long-standing joke. It'd be like, so what'd you do? I slashed him. How many games you get? I got 4 games for 1 slash. Tom Wilson got 0, right? Yeah, just check.
Yeah.
It's good for hockey. So
good for hockey.
Good for hockey. Sid the Rat did what? Yeah, he decapitated a guy on the ice. What did he get? $5,000 fines, league maximum. Did he get suspended? No.
But he got the league maximum.
Yeah, I threw a water bottle. What happened? 15 games. I violated COVID. I was out for like 4 months.
Oh.
Anyway, we're going to leave it there, everybody. Any final thoughts that you have for the week coming up?
No, this is going to be a crazy week. We got 4 streams this week. 3 of them hockey. 1 of them is a sit-down talk show. It is going to be wild. We got Tampa tomorrow, Panthers on the 5th, Montreal on the 9th, and DB, sorry, this is how you're learning. We're doing 4 streams this week. Apologize. But hey, that's how we roll. So it's going to be a good one.
Make sure you guys are going over to Sam's channel. 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations on that. Get over there, watch his streams, support him, share him out. Do the same thing for us, by the way. Like if you're coming in, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Make sure you're doing those things. There's nothing better for a content creator than to support them through watching, commenting, liking, sharing. It really, really helps us out. If you're in a position that you can super chat to any channel, it doesn't have to be this one or anyone that we're associated with. If you want to send those out to those people, it's another way to help them. None of this stuff is free. So, always go ahead and help out your content creators, whether it's this channel, Sam's channel, Krystal's channel. Krystal has a new video coming out tomorrow. Make sure you're supporting people. We do what we love. There's no doubt about it. Coming up this week, we're going to have a little bit of a weird week this week. I don't know exactly where we're going to be. Supposedly on Tuesday night, I will be calling the Ranger Devil game. Good Lord, I hope it's not like the last one, and I hope I'm sitting there just laughing at him the whole time. But pay attention to FP this week. We're going to have some things that might be a little fluid. So let me do our wrap up for the night and kind of give you guys a little bit of an overview as to what's coming, what we're doing. Obviously, there's this. Oh, sorry. I'll tell you what, that also is never going to get old. Tomorrow night, over on the FPE network, Coast to Coast Disney. If you're Disney fans and you're crazy like us, because I'm a crazy Disney person who loves hockey too, join over there. We're going to have some special people over there. Miriam and Maddie are not. Well, one of them's not there. Maddie's not there tomorrow. So you'll have to tune in to find out who the special guest is. Monday night, we have an evening with a magical lifestyle. This week's guest, super awesome. Super influential in the Latino community, so make sure that you join Gene and Piano Rob on Evening with Magical Lifestyle. On Monday night, right here on this very network, we have Breaking Balls. It is with Jeff and Bill, so make sure you tune in. If you are if you're not, well, let's try it again. David, try to speak. Take two. If you're a baseball fan, make sure that you're tuning in and paying attention to those guys. They really know their stuff. They've been doing this thing with trumping. Let's try it again. David can't talk anymore. It's stumping. Dole Whip Dad. Okay, I got it out. Moving on. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe, the like. We also have our FPE Network Plus. It is for movies, TV. We've got the Galactic Council. We're going to have Harry Potter coming out. We're going to have all kinds of movie magic, all kinds of fun stuff over on the Extra. We're so close to 1,000, everybody. We're at like 750. Go over there and give it a like, give it a subscribe. Check it out. We got tons of great content over there as well. We have been crushing it in the park. My wife has been amazing. She has been an absolute freaking tank. She has been in there 4, 5, and 6 hour streams. If you love the parks, go over there right now on Florida Park Explorers and support them. We do have a new show coming out on Monday featuring Jen and Tina as well. If you don't know Tina Marie's place, Tina Marie is superb. Go and check her channel out as well. But Jen and Tina will be doing, it's called In Spotlight. We're going to be highlighting cast members. Super important. They're the people who bring the magic. They make the magic for you every day when you're in Disney. So make sure that you go over there. That show is at 7:30. It'll lead into an evening with Magical Lifestyle. This week's guest, the Disney Baker. Get over there. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe. If you're not also supporting our partner channel, shame on you. Pete McDevitt Show, everybody. Get over there. Fantastic Disney creator. His new website is launched. Pete McDevitt.
I think it's the Pete McDevitt Show.
There's no the. It's just Pete McDevitt Show, which is what threw me off because I even said it, and I'm like, I designed the website. Oh, boy, I'll tell you what. PeteMcDevittShow.com. Go over there. It has listings for everything. We're in the process of making some adjustments, bring out more content. I'll also have merch joining that shortly, so make sure that you are getting over there. Support all the different things in our community. Our community is amazing. We have great people in this community, but it also starts with you guys. Thank you, chat. Thank you to our members. Thank you to our mods. You guys have been absolutely amazing. BearShark, your team will play at Flyers tomorrow. If you want to call it playing, I think it's probably more like a dance recital. Pillow Hands will be there. So with that, everybody, support your local content creators. Do the right thing. Give them a like. Give them a subscribe. Shout them out. Let other people know if you enjoy this content. Say, hey, there's two crazy guys who talk about football. Wait, this isn't football, it's hockey. So let's talk about hockey. And then follow our live streams. He's got one coming up. He's got 4 coming up. I got 1. So make sure that you guys hang out with us. Have some fun with us. Sam's going to have new emojis soon. As soon as he gets open, he's going to have a membership. You'll be able to join his member club, which will also help him offset some of the expenses on his channel. But it'll also give you emojis so that you can play around and go, Maple Leafs, Maple Leafs, Maple Leafs. Because you know he's going to have a Maple Leafs icon. So
perhaps.
I think it's probably a done deal. Just saying. He might have multiples. He might have the different years and jerseys. Who knows? But make sure that you guys are tuning in for all those things. But for Sam, Crystal Palace, I am And from now on, we'll probably known as the BearShark. Everybody, thank you for joining us again tonight. We really appreciate you guys being here. We will see you next Saturday. Until then, follow us on our other live streams and across both of our channels, or in our case, we have 6 channels, so go find them all. And with that, he is the natural. I am the BearShark. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.